What's good, family? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Broadcasting Community. Shout out to the Louisiana All America Sports Network. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. I'm here with my two kings, my two brothers. First and foremost, the general of this phenomenal organization, my brother, 7A Sports TV. Good morning to you, bro. What's good with you this morning?
Hey, good morning, good brother. PCR brothers, man. Salute to the chat. And thank y'all for having me once again. You dig?
Yeah, man. We appreciate you, bro, giving us your time on this Saturday morning. You know, it's a blessing having you in the building. And good morning and salute to my good brother Jared Level Green. What's good with you, King?
You know what it is, man. Blessed to be here. You know what I mean? Always a pleasure to be around some good brothers. So I'm good, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, this is our wire analysis, season one, episode 4, old cases. You know, last week we did episode 3. This week we doing episode 4. You know, we're not even gonna beat around the bush. Let me just get right into it. Season 1, episode 4, old cases. Greggs and McNulty try to get a hard case to turn informant as arraignment begins for those caught in the raid. So basically, they got this one particular individual in the case. He's the only individual that's not a minor of people that was busted in the raid. He kind of was like the only non-minor. So they're trying to get him to flip, and they're trying to turn him into a informant so they can get Avon Barksdale, Stringer Bell, Weebay, Savino, Stinkum, anybody that's higher up than him in the Barksdale organization. So All Cases is the 4th episode of the first season of Wire, and it plays a pivotal role in deepening the storylines and character developments, as well as establishing the primary tensions between the police and drug dealers in Baltimore. Here's a breakdown of the episode's key events and themes. All right, plot overview. The episode titled Old Cases primarily focuses on the ongoing investigation into the Barksdale's drug organization, while also delving into the struggles of both the police and the drug dealers. There are also several important moments of personal conflict and institutional tension, both in the police department and on the streets. All right, main storyline: the Barksdale investigation. The team continues to build their cases against Avon Barksdale using wiretaps to listen in the conversation between the Barksdale's lieutenants and other members of the drug operation. However, they struggle with the limited scope of information they can gather. The wiretap use some helpful insights, but are not enough to build a solid case on their own. Strategy shift. McNulty and the team are frustrated with the slow progress and limited success of their investigation. However, McNulty pushes for more aggressive action, and the episode introduces the idea that they need to gather evidence not just from wiretaps, but from old cases and other angles. The Barksdale organization's power and secrecy. Avon, the Avon Barksdale drug organization continues to function with an air of invulnerability. The team learns about Avon's enforcers, including his right hand, Weebay, and other trusted lieutenants. The organization's operations are vast and its criminal activities are well protected, making it difficult for the police to break through. Lester Freeman's role, old cases. Lester Freeman, one of the detectives on the case, is introduced as a experienced investigator. He brings up the importance of looking into old cases as a way to solve new ones. This means revisiting unsolved murder investigations that may have connections to Barksdale's operations. He's shown to be somewhat cynical but focused on using past experience to suggest that the investigation can move forward if they examine previously unsolved cases, unsolved crimes that might reveal more about the workings on the drug organization. The Dollhouse. This is where a small subplot involving Freeman working on intricate model of dollhouses. Uh, his detailed attention to building the tiny furniture and objects mirrors the meticulous approach to investigation. The parallels between him making the dollhouses as his hobby and his work highlights Freeman's quiet, patient, methodical style. Detective Kima Griggs. Rough times. Kima Griggs, one of the key members of the detail, is grappling with her own challenges. She is a strong and dedicated cop, but her personal life begins to intrude on her work. We see her struggles as a female officer in a male-dominated environment, and her relationship with her girlfriend, Cheryl, who is supportive but frustrated with the demands of Kima's job. Life-work balance. Kima's dedication to the case strains her relationship and becomes a subtle part of the tension that runs through the series, balancing her personal life with her professional duty. The political tensions, politics and bureaucracy. The episode touches on the bureaucratic and political challenges faced by the police department. There is tension between the investigators and their superiors. Some of the higher ups, like Deputy Commissioner Burrell, are more concerned with political optics and not necessarily with getting results in the Barksdale investigation. This highlights the systematic issues within the police force where higher priorities and interests often clash with the need for real criminal investigations. The mayor's office. The investigation also gets political traction as the team faces external pressure from the mayor's office, which is concerned about the public perception of crime in Baltimore. These pressures create additional obstacles for the detectives trying to solve the case. Bubbles' role in the story. Bubbles, the street informant, plays a smaller but significant role in the investigation. He continues to work with the police, offering his knowledge of the drug trade to help build the case against the Barksdale organization. His relationship with police is both useful and complicated as he walks a fine line between working with law enforcement and staying connected to the street life. Tension between the police. One of the recurring themes of the series is the internal tension within the police department. The investigation into the Barksdale organization is starting to show cracks as there are disagreements about how to best proceed and who is committed to bringing down Avon. McNulty's push for aggressive tactics and his clashes with fellow detectives, especially with those who are more politically minded or risk averse, adds complexity to the team's dynamic. Themes, of course, they talk about institutional corruption. The episode delves into how corruption and bureaucracy within the police force affect the quality and direction of the investigations. This is seen in the tensions between McNulty and higher ups and the way the mayor's office tries to manipulate the investigation for political gain. Patience in investigations. The contrast between the methodical, patient work of detectives like Lester Freeman and the impatient, fast-moving nature of the drug world is emphasized. Freeman's belief is going back to old cases reflects his deep understanding of how long-term investigations unfold. Class and power. The episode also touches on the divide between the police and the neighborhoods they are trying to police. The Barksdale organization's ability to operate with impunity is a reflection of how entrenched power and wealth can shield individuals from the law. The socioeconomic divisions between the working class and the police officers and the wealthy drug dealers highlight the systemic inequalities in the system. Also, personal versus professional. And they talk about key characters. It kind of goes on and on and on. But let's just get right into the episode itself in terms of scene by scene breakdown. Of course, like I said earlier, this is episode 4 of season 1, Old Cases. First episode, the first scene, Hurt struggles to move a desk into the office. Lester Freeman does his hobby and sits and watches Hurt as he struggles. Then Carver, Sidnar, and Daniels help him, and they struggle to get the desk in the office. Hurt told Daniels it must be caught on something. McNulty asks him, "Is the desk empty?" And he says yes. Then he said, "At this, we will never get it into the office." And Carver said, "Unbelievable, unbelievable." And everyone gets pissed and walks away. So for individuals that's wondering why I'm laughing, essentially what happened is the desk was moved out the office. Like they took everything out the desk, and the desk was moved out the office. So this fool here, being incompetent as he is, he trying to move this desk into the office. And in all actuality, he should have just left it there. So they realized, like, hold up, man. This desk was moved out the office for a reason, and you try to move it back in there, and they struggling like a dog, and they trying to get this desk in the office. And this desk was moved out the office, and they're like, man, this dude is on. Then the only non-minor arrested in the bus is about to come to court, and Greg and McNulty talk in court about the case. All the minors, they realize all the minors are untouchable, and they realize this guy has a long rap sheet of petty crimes, and the max bid he can get is 5 years. All right, the next scene, the two drunks, Patrick and Ox, are in the hospital. Pat got punched in the face by Bodie, and he laid up in the hospital. So Lieutenant Daniels visits Pat, and he tells Daniels to have a drink because of the incident during the bus. He can get 2/3 of his retirement, and basically he ready to retire. He says his brother has a video rental store, which was big and extremely popular in the mid to late 90s, and he needs a partner, and he's retiring, and he gonna do that. So Daniels told him to think about it before he submits his paperwork. And Pat said, no need to think about it. This is his ticket out of this trash detail. Then he adds extras, and basically he acts like he's more hurt than he actually is. So Daniels leaves, and Ox looks sad. Pat tells Ox, like, why don't you join me? And he was like, how I'm gonna do that? Basically, he was like, you know how we go downstairs and into this basement? He was like, go down the stairs and just fall while you at work. And Ox said he would break his effing neck. And basically they continue to talk about how Ox could manipulate the system, and he could stage his accident, and he could go into early retirement like Pat. Then we move back to the next scene, go back to the courtroom. Back to the courtroom as Marvin Browner and McNulty and Greggs, they're trying to squeeze Marvin Browner, and they're trying to get him to flip on Avon Barksdale, Stringer Bell, and other higher members of the Barksdale organization and himself. And he's like, why are y'all trying to bang me so hard for, a one-to-one or a hand-to-hand drug deal? And Greggs and McNulty basically was saying it's your turn. And they tell him that he has a very long rap sheet of petty crimes. And they could get a little crazy with him because, he got a long rap sheet. And they was like, if you snitch and you willing to give up Avon Barksdale, a Stringer Bell, like, maybe you won't do any time. And basically, he willing to take the years before he snitch. Next, Bodie is all beat up from his run-in with the police. And he's in the juvenile detention center. The person that works there tells him, damn, after seeing him, like how beat up he is. And basically, Bodie was like, you should see the cop. And Bodie asks him if anyone from West Side is up in here. And he tells him, no, it's mostly DC boys. So Bodie peeped the scene, and he realized, like, damn, he don't have no allies with him in here. So basically, he peeped the scene, and he saw this mop bucket with a mop, the yellow bucket. So he peeped the scene, and he pretended like he gonna mop the floor, and he used that to escape. Basically, he he pushed him out to the back door, and he just ran out the back door. So Carver and Hurt, they looking for Bodie. And basically, they nearly passed by him, as they talking in the car, but they turn left. They pass by this corner, and they make a left turn. And Bodie, he got lucky because he went the opposite direction. He's trying to hitchhike his way home. So Bunk and McNulty are talking about how they weren't able to flip anyone from the hand to hands and from the drug bust. McNulty tells Bunk Avon carries more weight in the projects than the police. And basically McNulty tells him, occasionally we visit the projects, but those people have to live there. So basically they boss, not Rawls, but the heavy set fat guy is always making the jokes. He comes and he tells McNulty he needs to help him solve his old case. And McNulty is reluctant, but his supervisor reminds him, like, basically, you created this firestorm, and you caused other members of the unit to have to pick up your workload since you ran your mouth off to Judge Fallon. And basically, you need to help solve this case because other people picking up your workload. And basically, Bunk tells McNulty, like, hey, Jimmy, he got you. You got a point. So they start working the case. Then Greggs and Bubbles are riding around looking for Omar's van. She asks for more information, and Bubbles tells him that basically Omar is No Heart Anthony's brother. And she was like, I don't know No Heart Anthony. And basically Bubbles tells her, like, man, I'm ashamed to be your snitch because you don't know nothing. So we see Omar and his crew. Basically, they're selling the G-Packs that they got from the robbery when they robbed the stash. And not only that, but they give away, a couple of vials of the of the dope to people that don't have money. Like this one chick, she walk up and she was like, Mr. Omar, I didn't get my check yet. So basically, he gave her a little something, so she could bump or whatever. Grace give Bubbles to McNulty because she has to go to class. And she asks if he knows about Anthony. And he was like, yeah, Anthony Little. And he gives more information about about No Heart Anthony, which is Omar's older brother. And basically Bubbles is like, my man. So Avon and his crew, they shooting hoops in the gym. They shooting basketball. And basically he was like, how when these white guys, they go deer hunting, basically they put the deer on display. He was like, I want once we catch this cat, I want him to be put on display in the same way to send a message to, everybody in the projects. And Weebay tells Avon that Bird was locked up with Omar and that basically Omar is gay. So now at this point, like, Avon is heated and he doubling up on the bounty. So eventually, like, the bounty was 2 bands for Omar. Now he doubling up the bounty. Now it's 4 racks on Omar. And in addition to that, he was like, if you let me holler at him before, y'all put his lights out, I'll give you an extra 2 racks on top of it. So McNulty takes Bubbles to his kid's soccer game because, he didn't get to go see his son play. McNulty introduces Bubbles to his ex-wife, and basically she refused to shake his hand. Like, hey, I ain't shaking no crackhead hand. I don't know you. And he then, basically him and his ex-wife, they get to arguing, and she ended up cussing him out. And then after that, basically McNulty drops Bubbles off, and he told, this is the quote for this particular episode: "There's a thin line between here and heaven." Next, Poop, Wallace, and D, they're sitting on this legendary orange couch in the terrace. And Bodie walks up. But before Bodie walk up, they talk about how did Omar know where the stash was? So Poop is like, hey, somebody must be snitching for Omar to know where the stash is. And D was like, nobody has to be snitching for Omar to know where the stash is. He was like, basically, Omar and his boys, they could have just walked by and saw where the stash was. So at this point, Bodie walk up, And it was like, damn, first of all, they realized he beat up too. And Wallace was like, man, how in the hell you got how you got home so quick? And basically he was like, he snatched a stolen. And for y'all individuals that don't know, like the students at my previous school, basically a stolo is a stolen car. And Wallace was like, well, what type of car did you steal? He said, I stole a Camry XC. He was like, it's around the corner if y'all want to ride. And he told him basically, like juvenile detention center, it can't hold him. He was like, he too bad for that off-brand little boy bullcrap. And they can't hold him. And D'Angelo, D start laughing. And Bodie asked D'Angelo, like, what you laughing at? He told him, like, hey, if you was me, you'll still be there. And D asked him, like, have you seen a city jail? He was like, have you caught a body? And Bodie was like, yeah, you got that one. He was like, yeah, no, I got the one you know about. And then basically he proceeds to tell his story about his uncle was smashing his chick. And the chick got upset because basically, you know, when you're a kingpin like Avon, you know, you got a harem of brillas, you know what I'm saying? You got a bunch of brillas, you got a bunch of little, you know, little girlfriends or whatever. So basically, you know, she got upset and she told Avon, like, hey, I'm gonna start running my mouth because she know about stuff that she shouldn't know about. So basically, they're like, hey, they gotta get this chick erased. So he told a story, and basically what transpired is D took credit for deleting his chick. And in all actuality, you know, he ain't built like that. Weebay was the one that actually did it, but he kind of took credit for deleting his chick. And and go show you how crazy Pooh is and how he think with his little head and not his big head. He was like, man, if this chick is this fine, and she got such an amazing body, like why you didn't smash her first? And they like, man, this dude crazy. So Judge Fallon, he meeting with Commissioner Deputy Burrell, and basically, you know, they talk about some political stuff, and Burrell, he trying to finesse Judge Fallon in the like, hey, we got some small time busts and we did some hand to hands, and then you like basically what we got, and Judge Fallon pick it up. You know, of course, McNulty had already put him up on game prior to this, and he was like, hey, I don't see Avon Barksdale, a string of bells name nowhere on it. So basically, he was like, y'all got more work to do. So they tried to finesse, but it didn't happen. And Herc and Carver, they go to Bodie's grandmother's house, and they threaten to kick in the door. These two clowns, they're so rude, they're so disrespectful. And the lady, she let them in, and they go upstairs, they curse and they cutting up. And basically they realize that Bodie not there. And, you know, she told him that, hey, when Preston, you know, Preston is Bodie's government name. Like, when his mom passed, he came to live with her. And basically she was like, you know, the kid, he had a lot of anger issues because, you know, his mom died when he was young. And basically she was like, you know, he got a lot going on. So, you know, Herc, I'm surprised Carver wasn't the more sensible, reasonable one in this particular scenario. But basically, you know, he apologized to the lady and he gave her his card. And he was like, hey, if Preston comes home, then, you know, give him his card. So Daniels and after that, Daniels and Burrell have a meeting. And basically, you know, Burrell, he kind of relaying information to Daniels, like, hey, he was like, we don't know nothing about this case or whatever the case may be. And basically, you know, he was like, whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, if you want to bring somebody else in, that's cool. And basically, Burrell was like, you looking for the back door already? He was like, no, like, whatever you want me to do, I'm willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So, also, Kima and our girlfriend, you know, they're together. You know, her and her girlfriend, they lying on the couch. Kima studying and her girlfriend laying on the couch. And basically, you know, for individuals that have been in college, you know, like myself, I didn't do this with a lot of people. They would take the highlighter and they would highlight like information they need to study. Me, I was never that guy. A lot of times I would just read it, or I would take what I was reading and I would copy it in a separate notebook if I felt it was important enough. So she took the highlighter and she marked up the girl's couch. And she was like, hey, you walked up the couch, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, she was like, you violated my civil rights. You know, it was like a little playful banter between her and her girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Next, D and Bodie, they're trying to break the camera outside of the, in the projects by throwing rocks at it. And Lester Freeman, he observing and he watching them. So he got his beeper number off the wall in the stash house, and it had the letter D next to it. So he observing them, and he figured that more than likely it's probably D'Angelo. So as they throwing rocks at it, you know, Lester Freeman, he beat D, and D called back, and he realized like, yeah, hey, this D. So McNulty and Greggs, they talking about cloning Avon's beeper. And, you know, they start telling, then they start talking about the backstory to No Heart Anthony, which is Omar's older brother. And, you know, they tell a backstory about him, and basically, they talk about how he ended up getting his name, No Heart Anthony. Basically, he tried to delete himself by putting a 4-4 to his chest and squeezing the trigger, but he only ended up getting a flesh wound. He didn't delete himself. So that's how he ended up getting the nickname No Heart Anthony. Then after that, Daniels has a meeting. After Daniels met with Burrell, he's meeting with the entire unit. And basically they regrouping and they're trying to figure out like what type of strategy they can use to get deeper on his Avon Barksdale case and get what they need. So they talk about cloning Avon, a member of the organization, cloning a pager or cloning a beeper. And of course, Senior, he worked at this chemical plant for a lot of years, so he had a beeper. Like, he put a car phone in my mom's car, like the big zip up pouches. You had to be in the 90s to know this, but he had that in my mom's car, and he had a beeper. So they talked about, cloning the beeper. And Herc was like, if these guys supposed to be so big time, like, why they walking around with beepers instead of paying a little bit of extra money to get a cell phone? And basically, Lester Freeman, he was like, it's not about having a higher status cell phone. It's a discipline. So, you have to have more discipline to have a beeper. Someone calls you, you call them back, so on and so forth. So basically, Lester told him it's about having discipline. And now they need a beeper number. So they realize they don't have a beeper number they don't have Avon's beeper number. They don't have no one in the organization's beeper number. So basically, Lester Freeman, he comes up with a picture of D'Angelo, and he has D'Angelo's beeper number. And McNulty was like, well, how you know that's him? And he was like, hey, he checked it out, and it's him. So next, McNulty and Bunk, they start talking about Lester Freeman. And he was like, and then Bunk was like, I thought like all they sent you was like basically some bottom of the barrel, like bum type cops. And he was like, I thought he was too, but he was like, all he does is sit there and work on his little tiny furniture. And Bunk was like, don't let Lester fool you. Like, he a good police officer. And in addition to that, he makes more money doing this little tiny furniture than you make your whole paycheck. So he was like, don't let Lester fool you, for one. And he said, second of all, he make a lot of money doing it. And then basically they go to rework one of the old cases. And basically the story that D was telling Poop and Wallace and Bodie earlier about one of the chicks that Avon was smashing, and basically he took credit for deleting this chick. This is the same case that Bunk and McNulty is reworking. So basically they reworked the case. They found a bullet in the wall and a shell casing on the ground. So basically they have the evidence that they need. Now the unit, they're going to pursue Avon Barksdale. And basically the point of them pursuing him was to intentionally lose him. I don't know, how pertinent that was, but it is what it is on that. And McNulty, he run up on Lester, and he start asking Lester questions. And basically now he realized that Lester is a real good police officer. So he get to ask him questions. They go to the bar, they have some drinks. And Lester, he give him the backstory of how he ended up working, how basically he ended up getting put on a trash detail. And Lester was like, hey, he worked this case, and somebody had pulled, ended up being in this situation, and it got him bumped down to a detail that he didn't want. So he told McNulty, it's gonna come a point after all of this blows over that basically they're gonna ask you what detail you don't want. He said, don't open your mouth and tell them what you don't want to do, because that's the detail they're gonna get you to get back at you, to get some shake back. And lastly, McNulty is looking for Griggs at her apartment. And Kima and our girlfriend, basically they about to do the nasty is as the show's going off, it fades to black and the credits roll. So that's the end of episode 4, season 1 of The Wire, Old Cases. I'm gonna shout out everybody in the chat real quick, then I'm gonna turn it over to my brother Jared O'Lover Green. Slick Tom, salute to you, bro. Also salute to DP Rocker, the winning team. Salute to 4-ounce Sniper. Was good with you, bro. And salute to I Am Legend Boxing. Salute to your family. I'm gonna turn it over to my brother Jerry Levin Green. The floor is yours, bro.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate the recap. Those are the ones who, for the ones who, probably didn't watch the episode in a while. But let's start with the first question. In scene 1, we see how stupid Herc is. How did he make it that far, considering how incompetent he is? 78, we're going to go with you.
Because he's a white cop. If he was black, I mean, his incompetence wouldn't have been tolerated. You know what I'm saying? He'd have been made fun of and got out of there. But because he's a white cop, and you can't just blame him either when it comes, especially when it comes to that moving scene, because nobody communicated. Lester sitting there looking at him, just laughing like, man, these some idiots. You know what I mean? This is what happens when you're moving, especially when you're trying to maneuver something through a doorway. Everybody got to know which direction you're going. If y'all can't, if you can't communicate what direction you're going, and you let up a little bit or you twist this way, that way, y'all, it's no communication. They just get together and start pushing. Both of them pushing. I said, man, these dudes are some idiots. It was frustrating for me watching it, but yeah, Herc is an idiot, but because he got the complexion for the protection, that took him a long way throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? But throughout the show, I should say. But like I said, a lot smarter men than him, they happen to be brothers in higher positions, got thrown under the bus for mistakes they made trying to help out. So I don't know.
That's true. Coach, what's your opinion?
Oh, I agree 100% with the general. And not only that, but certain individuals have book sense and no common sense. So I think he might have had like the requisite knowledge in terms of to get through the police academy, to pass any maybe necessary tests he might have had to pass to get to that point. But, me personally, I'm not going to lie, I found it entertaining that. I mean, come on, man. Like, first of all, like 7-8 points out, like, as a unit, they lack effective communication skills. Like, bro, as a teacher, like, we've had to move desk, like like my desk as a teacher or desk as a student or whatever. And faculty members, we talk about like, hey, you do this, you do that, or whatever. And most of the time, because I'm in a predominantly female-dominated field, like a lot of times they were like, hey, coach, I would need you to go help, one of the janitors and do this, do that. And we communicate when we're doing it. So one, it shows a lack of communication, but it kind of reminds me of, like I say, watching some of these cops in this show, it kind of remind me of like Cole from Morton. Like him struggling to move this desk. To me, if Morton would have had a police scene and you would have had Cole moving this desk, Herc comes across as Cole from Morton in this scenario. So that's why I thought it was funny. I found it extremely entertaining. And to me, it's just crazy. Like, bro, you mean to tell me, first of all, you didn't ask like, hey, should this desk like be here or should we move it in the office or whatever the case may be? So communication is key and vital in this scenario. So I would ask like, hey, should we move this desk in here? And then if we do decide, hey, we're gonna move it in here, then we need to have some communication as we trying to maneuver it through the door, as opposed to just, hey, we just trying to use brute force to push it through, and it's not gonna happen. So at the end of the day, bro, I found this thing to be extremely hilarious. I thought it was crazy, and then when Carver was like uneffing believable, to me that was like the funniest part of the whole scene.
Yeah, it was. Question number 2. In the past, episode 78 talked about how guys clean up any liability or loose ends, as they say. In the previous episode, 78 also talked about how no snitching is designed to protect the king. Based on all this, is it smart for Marvin Browner to not snitch and just to take the years?
I think you going to me, brother?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think because I can't remember what happens later on, but I think for right now it's a smart move for him not to snitch because we see what happened with the snitches on the show so far. The people who snitched
Right.
so far have been gotten dealt with. Okay, then came up, stinking. And if he is going, I'm a firm believer. If you're going to do the crime, do the time. Once you decide you can live this certain lifestyle, you have to live by a certain code of conduct. Saying, okay, I'm going to take these penitentiary chances. If I get away, the reward is great. If I get caught, I'm going to prison. You have to already have that mentality. If you got the mentality where if I get caught, I'm telling everybody to save myself, you shouldn't even be doing this. This is ridiculous. Why are you even here? So, and if he do snitch, the Baltimore police ain't gonna protect him. They couldn't protect the other witnesses. So, no, he did the right move, in my opinion. But like I said, I can't remember what happened later on with him. I don't even remember his character except for that part where he was getting interrogated. I don't even remember what happened with him. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got me there, but like, I wouldn't advise him to have told on the Barksdale family. I think he did right.
I agree. He saw what happened to the security guard, so you're right.
Now, did he come back in later on in the season? Because I don't remember him at all.
I ain't gonna lie. That's the only time I remember.
Okay, yeah, I would say that's the only time I remember.
That's the only time I remember him too. And basically, I think the overarching, like the whole point of him being in this scene is the fact that they tried to. He was the only person that wasn't a minor in this grade to get busted. So since he was the only non-minor, they tried to flip him, and he like, man, you must be crazy. I'm just gonna take the years, and I don't think we ever saw him again after that.
Yeah. So they insinuating he in prison. My God, let me turn this phone off. I guess he in prison. They insinuate he in prison, living his best life. You know what I'm saying? He being taken care of by the Barksdale family. You know what I mean?
And before you get to me, Jared, I want to ask this 7-8. Do you think in all instances when these guys, if they're low-level guys, if they get busted, does the kingpin always take care of them, or sometimes they just on their own?
Sometimes they on their own, depending on it depends on about how good the kingpin is and how much the kingpin knows. Like if this is a low-level guy who never met the kingpin, ain't got no connections with the kingpin, he only like he's a soldier for one of the capos. right? He a soldier for one of the capos, but he never met the kingpin, so never did no business with him. It's not a lot he can tell. So the smart thing would be for the capo or whoever is in charge of that soldier to tell the kingpin, "Hey, man, my man got popped off. He kept his mouth shut. I want to take care of him and his people while he locked up because he quiet. A good leader would do that, but it's a lot of them who don't. It's a lot of them who just be like, he's small potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure he on the team on lockdown. Make sure when we behind the wall, he with us, and he getting benefits behind the wall from being with us. But they ain't finna do nothing for his family. His kids still struggling. Now if it's somebody who, let's say a capo get popped off and he keep his mouth shut, he got direct access to the kingpin. He can snitch. Now his family go get. Now I'm just saying, back in the day, I don't know what they do now. Back in the day, his family would be taken care of, right? And he would be taken care of behind the wall. He would be, a high-ranking member behind the wall, have some stripes, and his family on the street gonna be taken care of, gonna give a certain amount of money every month. You know what I'm saying? That's just how they go. They're gonna be given responsibilities and rewarded for being loyal. But the pawns don't really get nothing, but the soldiers don't get nothing, in my opinion. From my experience, the soldiers don't really get nothing.
Yeah, and basically that latter scenario that you described, the way he made it sound like he had never even met Avon. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he had no intel to really give him anyway. But he was smart enough to realize, like, hey, me telling on him is not my best interest. So, like, hey, I'm shutting up. Like, I'm gonna just take the years. Y'all trying to bang me hard, but guess what? It is what it is. I'm gonna just take my lick.
What would have been dope for the show is if later on, I'm skipping way ahead seasons, but when Avon was locked up and they showed Avon behind the wall, if they would have showed dude with Avon, like with Avon and Weebay, if they would show dude there, that would have made more of a reward sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you 100% accurate, bro. Because of course, they show. See, him and Weebay, they knew each other. They came up together. But this cat was like you say, low level, bottom of the barrel. If he would have interacted with them, yeah, you right. That'd have been a good look. But I mean, I know they say he had a long rap sheet, but if he only looking to do 5 years, he might not even end up going to the same prison that they went to. I mean, I don't know how it is.
He only got 5 years, huh? Okay.
Yeah, he only got 5 years, and he might not have to do the whole 5. So he might not end up going to the same place they ended up going to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
And I don't mean to spoil it. He's going to become a pivotal intel for the Barksdale inside.
Okay. I can't remember.
And
I don't know. I don't even remember him, bro.
Once we get along in season 1, you're gonna see him again.
Okay.
All right.
In season 1.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
But same question to you, Coach.
Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. He really had no leverage in that scenario, and of course, Avon and King, you're gonna protect the king at all costs. So you get to run your mouth. You're gonna end up getting deleted. So it was in his best interest to, keep his mouth shut and take the lick. I mean, it ain't like he got no money. He don't have no status. He don't have no leverage. So at the end of the day, like, it ended up working out for him. It'll be in his best interest for him to just shut up and just take his lick. And he did that, because he told Kima and McNaughton, he was like, okay. And Kima was like, okay, what? He was like, I'm going to take the years. Because he knew, like, bro, hey, why y'all trying to get at me so hard? Like, basically, this is one little hand-to-hand and a little red. Like, this ain't nothing for y'all to be giving me no 5 years old. And they're trying to squeeze him and trying to make him like, hey, you're in a tough spot. You need to, reach for every lifeline we're going to get you. And he was like, man, y'all ain't going to finesse me. I'm going to just take my leave. So I think he played it right in that scenario, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, question 3. Once Avon finds out Omar is gay or homosexual, he doubles the bounty. How much have views on homosexuality changed from then to now? Because I believe why Coach put this question down is because nowadays, it's accepted or whatever. But back then, when when the show first, aired, it was a little different. So, what's your opinion, General?
Hey, can you hear me, bro?
Yes, sir.
Um, okay, let me get the question exactly right. Repeat the question again about Omar being a zesty.
Basically, he was saying how if you go from like the 90s, the early 2000s to this point, like people's views on homosexuality has changed. It's a lot more socially acceptable. So he asking like, how much has it changed from that point to our current state in 2024?
Um, to me personally, I'm a little different, bro. I personally think a lot of dudes today are zesty. I think that they just try to hide it. They try to pretend like they're anti zest, but I think these dudes love being zestfully clean. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. I think a lot of these dudes are infatuated with everything zesty people doing, and I don't care about what they listen. As long as you ain't walking down the street and I got my kids with me and you all smooching and touching each other behind and doing all this stuff in the public, I don't care what you're doing in the privacy of your own home. Be well, do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But when you come putting it in my face and then telling everybody I gotta conform to your lifestyle and all of that, that's when I have a problem with it. But I think in today's society, a lot of people are more zesty than they were back then. Back then, it was more taboo, and then you underestimated people. Like Avon underestimated Omar because he was zesty, and you assume he's soft because he's zesty. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's a lot of zesty dudes that knock you smooth out. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be very careful dealing with the zesty dude. You can't just be assuming, oh, he's soft like a girl. No, these dudes got the emotions of a girl, but the power of a man. Very dangerous.
You're right, 78, because Sugar Ray Leonard will knock you out.
You ain't told no lies.
He's right, bro. He's right.
For real. But yeah, good point, General. Coach, same question to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more socially acceptable. I'm gonna give you an example, right? I remember like my freshman year in high school, bro. I kid you not. There was like in our whole high school, like the high school I went to high school with Brandon Jacobs, Tremont Williams. These are like the two guys that are like the 100 guys I played football with in high school. These are two that made it to the NFL, right? And my freshman year, like the whole high school, there was like two openly zesty guys, right? And of course, they hang with each other because they're the only two of their ilk, right? Fast forward to 20 years later, I'm a teacher, and like zestiness is so prevalent that I remember they had this huge fight. This one zesty boy, he was like overtly disrespectful towards me as a teacher, and he wanted to fight me. And I'm like, dude, you just don't know. I would F you up, but that's another story. And they had this other zesty boy, and what ended up happening was two of their friends got into it, and they got into it. Don't you know these things had changed so much in those 20 years that like these two zesty dudes, they didn't even like each other. They didn't associate with each other. They didn't hang with each other. Whereas when I was a freshman in high school, like these were the only two of their ilk. So they had to hang together. They had to be friends because they were the only two of their kind. Whereas 20 years later, it was so socially accepted and so much more prevalent that like you guys zesty dudes that don't even like each other. Like, hey, I don't like him. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. And it got to a point where The two zesty dudes got into it. One zesty dude, his female friend, and this other dude, his zesty friend, they got into it. And then the zesty dude who I told you he didn't, he was disrespectful towards me. Like his older brother was like a real gangster, like a real gangster. And the other boy, cousin, so they got into it. And of course, they had a homecoming parade coming up, and the one who I told you was the real gangster, they had to shut down the homecoming parade because he was finna spray up the parade, like the pep rally in the gym after the parade. He was gonna spray it up, so they had to shut it down. And I'm like, damn, this boy a real gangster. So it kind of go to show you how things have changed over the years. And I'm kind of like 7-8. We know like the Democratic Party and certain powers that be, they push this zesty agenda. My only issue is like they push it in like the baby's face, like he said. I'm gonna give you an example. Right, I was watching this NFL game the Saints were playing. I can't remember who they were playing, and they had this commercial for this pill that came on, and these two zesty men, they of course they're both black men, and they openly kissing each other. And I'm like, bro, like if you're gonna do that behind closed doors, I have no issue with it. But when you throwing this in my face, that's an issue. And to me, it seemed like certain shows push those agendas. And it's to the point where even if I know, like, for example, a show like Empire was a show that really blurred that line and really pushed that agenda. But even when you pushing it on like the babies, like I'll give you an example, like my sister Kay and I, we were talking, and like my two little nephews, they were watching SpongeBob. And she was saying, like, you could see in certain scenes of this cartoon where like they literally trying to push this agenda. And I think when you're trying to push that on the babies, one thing I noticed as a teacher, like certain people, they are not like that up front, but you blurring the lines, you pushing these agendas. Like, I'm not saying you make them like that, but since it's so in their face, it's more acceptable. And they ended up being a part of that lifestyle because that agenda is pushed on them when they're young at an early age. And I don't like that aspect of it.
I agree, man. I highly agree. Moving along. Question 4: do you think Avon was too concerned about his reputation on the street?
No, I think that because of who he was, he had to be concerned about that. That's the way. He's known for that. You know what I'm saying? So he had to do that. Unlike um, unlike other people, Avon was known for his reputation on the street. So he had to rule with an iron fist. And the moment he showed any sign of weakness in his mind, if he let Omar keep hitting him, it's a sign of weakness. If he don't retaliate, it's a sign of weakness. Then other people gonna jump in on it. So I don't think he was too concerned about that. Not yet. Maybe later on, but not yet.
Right. What about you, Coach?
I agree with the general, and I think one of the points that he made a little bit earlier that's extremely valid is he underestimated Omar like to the highest degree. And I'm gonna give you an example, right? They had this zesty player. He ended up making it to the NFL, but he ended up getting cut when he came out. He ended up being the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. What his name was? Sam's, Jared?
Michael Sam's.
Michael Sam's. Well, in our day and age, I'm not even gonna lie, like in that time frame, if a guy was zesty, you thought he was soft. So you would immediately underestimate him, and you would think, hey, in a physical confrontation, I can handle him. Any type of gunplay, anything like that, he's not a match for me. And I think that's where Avon kind of made a mistake, and he underestimated Omar, and it ended up causing him like a lot more issues down the line. I think the one thing, don't get me wrong, we know Omar is extremely intelligent. He real street smart. But I think the thing is, I think when you somebody like Avon, and you have so many soldiers at your disposal, I think after a certain point, if you keep sending goons at Omar, I think at some point you're gonna get him. I think that's one depiction of the show that I really didn't like. Because if you look at a movie like The Four Brothers, with Mark Wahlberg, with Andre 3000 and Tyrese Gibson, like, when old boy kept sending them goons at him, like, if you could keep just sending goons and keep sending goons and keep sending goons, at some point, if it's just you by yourself with a shotgun, like, you're going to get got. So I think that's one aspect of it that was unrealistic. But at the end of the day, I think it was accurate, and I think the general was 100% accurate from the standpoint of, I think Avon kind of underestimated Omar.
Okay, good point. Moving along, D'Angelo tells a story about him deleting one of Avon's girlfriends. Do you think the fact that he is Avon's nephew carries more weight with the youngsters, or these type of stories carry more weight with them?
Avon nephew, that's it, man. So, to be honest
That
with
was
you,
quick as hell.
yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't even remember if he actually did that dirt. I don't even remember if he actually did that. I think he was
Actually,
talking about it.
he didn't do it, but Weebay did it, but he took credit for it.
Okay, so he took. Okay, yeah, I knew that. It's just, you know what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, I can't see his soft ass doing nothing like that, man. Like, he too soft, bro. Like, he got good heart and all this stuff. I can't see him doing that to no girl. I mean, this dude got hard enough time doing something to Wallace or a security guard or something. Like, come on, fam.
What he did was, he distracted her. He told her to go. He was part of it, but yeah, old Weebay pulled the trigger.
Right. Yeah, you right.
And same thing for you, Coach. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think the fact that he was the king's nephew is the thing that kind of got him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he told a story, but everybody knew he deleted Pooh. But to me, I felt like that was an emotional situation where he didn't use any critical thinking skills. I mean, just think about it. You got all these soldiers on one stairwell, another stairwell, and like Avon told him, you're gonna pop this dude right in front of the security booth with all these people getting off of the elevator. That was stupid. We know he's soft enough. He couldn't physically handle Pooh one-on-one in a fight. But you got all these soldiers at your disposal, and you can do something stupid like pulling out a strap and deleting this dude in front of security booth. So that's crazy to me. So it kind of go to show you that he really didn't have that kind of heart. And the general was right once again. The fact that he was the nephew of the king is what kind of got him all of this leverage with the youngsters. Because let's keep it real. Like 7A said, a few weeks back, like he didn't even want to give them the order to stomp out the white crackhead Johnny. Like, hey, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, that'd been anybody else. Like, man, hey, bro, go stomp this boy out for stealing our money and giving us this counterfeit paper. Like, man, hey, put your foot knee deep in his behind. But you can even do that. So I think he's right. That was the only thing that carried weight with the youngster, was the fact that he was the nephew of the king. You know what I'm saying?
Great points by both of y'all. Okay, we're going to our last two questions. When Herc and Carver go to look for Bodie, they are extremely rude to the grandmother. Why do you think they are so rude and disrespectful?
Because first of all, they're embarrassed that he escaped out of that little kitty jail situation. They figure he's gonna be there, and he's black, she's black. They figure they can disrespect her and be rude, and there's not gonna be no consequences or repercussions. So they came in bold, talking crazy, and doing what they do. And I think it's, you got definitely always has something to do with race when you're dealing with that kind of situation. And then, like you say, anger. They was upset because he got away from them. So now they heated, and had they found him, they'd have beat the hell out of him too. So he lucky he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Okay, good point. Good point. Coach.
Yeah, once again, the general is accurate. Uh, I mean, I was always taught that you draw more flies with honey than you do vinegar, meaning you get much better results in scenarios when you're nicer to people as opposed to when you just a flaming butthole like they were. And a lot of times, if you look at somebody like Carver, even when they went into uh, the projects and they calling themselves quote unquote doing street interviews at 2 a.m. Look, bro, like at the end of the day, Herc and Presbyterian was going to go do something stupid. But the fact that, you know, they like just to give you an example, right? In the movie Shaft, he talked about how he was too black for the badge and too blue for the brothers. You know what I'm saying? So he was kind of in a no-win situation. And a lot of times, these black cops, they do racist stuff along with these white cops because they won't fit in with their peers, because of the peer pressure aspect of it. And I think it kind of plays into it when they're going to try to find Bodie in his grandmother's house because, they being buttholes, so we got to be buttholes too, you know what I'm saying? But at least, and the irony of it is, to me, Carver would have been a more sensible one from the standpoint of, hey, we didn't find it, I realized we were some buttholes. Hey, let me talk to this lady nicely. Let me give her my card. Hey, if your son comes home, give him my card, have him reach out to me, so on and so forth. But in this instance, like Herc was the voice of reason, which is astonishing to me, considering how stupid he was in the opening scene. But it kind of goes to show you maybe he has just a little bit of understanding, not much, but a little bit. And I'm shocked at Carver, but it goes to show you like the peer pressure that goes along with that type of job. And in that particular instance, like 7A said, is a racial component to it, is a socioeconomic component to it. Excuse me, because they feel like, hey, you black, you low class, you live in the projects, you live in this this trash apartment. We could come in guns ablazing, we could kick in your door, we could talk to you like a dog, we could disrespect you in it where we feel like it. There's gonna be no consequence, no repercussions to it, like 7A said. And like, hey, what you gonna do? And the lady was extremely calm. She was polite. She was respectful. And to me, like their behavior was just scumbag, trash bag behavior because, like I said, where I'm from, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every individual where I'm from has the same line of thinking or the same mindset, but we believe in treating people the way we want to be treated. So if I'm going to treat you good, then if I want to be treated good, I'm going to treat you good, That's why, like, when you look at these feminist females that figure guys should cater to them and wait on them hand and foot, but I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to be nice to you. I don't have to cook for you. I don't have to clean. I don't have to do nothing. I'm like, bro, like how stupid is that? My logic is, hey, if I want you to cater to me as a woman, I'm going to cater to you as a man. Like, I'm going to be a provider, protector, this, that, and the third, so on and so forth. I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. So for them to just disrespect this lady and come in our house and tell her they're going to kick in our door and they're going to curse at her through the door and blah, 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 like, that's scumbag behavior to me.
You're absolutely right. Okay. And of course, we're going to always wrap up with this question. What are your overall thoughts of the episode and what is your favorite scene?
Y'all got, excuse me, eating me some late breakfast. But
Go ahead.
I would say that
You
I would
good.
say that my favorite part of the show, this episode was Kima, big booty girlfriend, and them about to get frisky. Oh, Kima. Ain't her name Kima?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
her name.
Yeah, her and her beef with the girlfriend. That was my favorite part of the show. I've been waiting. I'm like, man, come on now, y'all. I'm like, man, y'all teasing people now. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. But yeah, I messed with that. And yeah, and the cop, I forgot his name. The cop who was contemplating taking that fall down them steps too. Yeah, I ain't mad at him. They get your money, man.
He said, I'm tired of this.
Hmm. I ain't mad at him. But that's
Uh,
mine.
okay. All right. Before I go to you, Coach, I'm gonna give you mine. Mine is when favorite scene is when basically Bunk and well, I mean Bunk already knew, but uh, I'm blanking on his name.
Lester Freeman,
No, yeah, not Lacey Freeman, but the
McNulty.
McNulty. Yeah,
Yeah,
McNulty thought that everybody, all the cops were given to their, situation was
the
basically
unit,
our
a bum.
unit was all bums or bottom of the
Yeah,
barrel. But Lester Freeman was just, the whole time just sitting back chilling, and he figured out he was good police. He just didn't. His last situation or last unit, he disobeyed an order, which got him demoted. So he's actually, was a good police. Kitty Cat, why would you come to somebody else's chat and say boring? If it's boring, don't listen to it. Get your whole ass on somewhere.
Yeah, just like with a wrench. That's just somebody just stalking. That's one of them stalkers. He came over here with his penis in his hand. And he was hoping he was gonna get something good to talk about, but since we not all cammed up, he disappointed. Yeah, get him up out of here.
Yeah, but that was my favorite. But when everybody or McNulty figured out Lester Freeman was actually that a very good cop. But Coach, what was your favorite?
Uh, of course, in terms of the show itself, I think it was another good episode in terms of continue to build, towards, continue to scaffold towards their end game and where they're trying to get to. But in terms of my favorite scene, of course, two scenes. Uh, of course, my favorite scene is when Kima and our girlfriend finna do the nasty. Like Senior would say, finna do the nasty. May he rest in peace. That aspect of it, that scene is my favorite scene. And when they showed the pictures of the chick, the only thing that kind of took away from it is the fact that she's been deleted and her naked body just laying on the floor. But if we actually got to see, her, how am I put this delicately? If she'd have been alive, it'd have been interesting to see, like, how fine she really is. But it is what it is.
Okay, all right. Well, that was all the questions, man. I'm gonna bring it back to Coach so you can wrap everything up.
Of course, I appreciate everybody that came through, drop in to show some love. I appreciate my good brothers, Jared 11 Green and 7 8 Sports TV, giving me their time on this awesome Saturday morning. First, I'm gonna throw it to the general. Tell the people where they can meet you and see you, good brother.
And y'all can see me right here on YouTube. It's 78 Sports TV. You can also find me on my other page where I'll be going live tomorrow at the No 304 Show. So No 304 Show right here on YouTube. Catch me on Patreon, patreon.com/78 Sports TV.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all go be certain to go check out the No 304 show and definitely go check out his primary channel. He's finally up to 95K. YouTube like they took the little block. So we're gonna keep trying to push it in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? My good brother Jared 11 Green, tell the people where they can meet you and see you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Right here on YouTube, Gerald 011 Green. Try to have shows every Sunday around 3:30 due to obligations. That time may change, but yeah, come check a brother out. We have of course Coach 67 Sports TV, brother Jay Good, uh, Joseph Town, JB, Brent Fox, all these brothers. We come together and talk about ball or any topic regarding sports. So come check me out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate these two kings being with me this morning. Let's shout out everybody in the chat. Uh, Shout out to Slick Tom. We appreciate you coming through, showing some love. Uh, Shout out to DP Rocker, TWT, the winning team. We appreciate you coming through, bro. Shout out to 4-ounce Sniper. Salute to you, bro. We appreciate you coming through, showing some love. Salute to I Am Legend Boxing. We appreciate you, LDBC family. We appreciate you.
Salute.
Shout out to Trip Bayless. We appreciate you coming through, showing some love. Hold up. All right. Scrolling down. Salute to my brother, Soul Power, aka Gained Up Kennels. Hey, man. Hey, me and Gained Up Kennels, man, we got to link up, bro, because at the LDBC meet and greet, at the family meeting, I didn't get your number. Man, I'm gonna have to get your number behind the scenes, bro. And salute to my good brother Jay Good. Salute to Jay Good. Man, I appreciate everybody that came through, that dropped in, that showed some love, and came and just checked us out. Of course, next week we gonna hit it again with the next episode. Depending on how everybody's schedule gonna be, we're gonna try to do this again next Saturday. Also, for all my members of Jaguar Nation, later on today, I got another transfer portal video that's gonna drop later on today for my LDBC family members. Got another video dropping later on today in terms of Fury Usyk, who I think gonna win, and then I'm gonna do my post-fight reaction. So we appreciate everybody dropping through, coming through, showing some love, showing support. This has been another installment of our Wire Analysis, Old Cases, Season 1, Episode 4. We appreciate y'all to the highs for coming through and show some love. We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal day, blessed, phenomenal weekend. Happy holidays to everyone that supported. We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.
Peace.